The dark world of _billionaires kids _. A teenager who kills 4 people, later claiming that his wealthy upbringing hindered his ability to grasp the consequences of his actions, and 2 brothers who couldn't wait for their inheritance and decided to kill their parents to get it. These are just glimpses of what can emerge when the sheen of wealth fades, revealing the dark underbelly of a billionaire's world. Menendez brothers, Lyle and Eric, for example. Born into a world of privilege, their father, Jose Menendez, was a Cuban immigrant who rose to become a powerful executive in the entertainment industry. Their mother, Kitty, a former teacher turned homemaker, ensured they lacked nothing. The family's Beverly Hills mansion, filled with lavish furnishings, was a testament to their wealth, a life most could only dream of. Yet, behind this facade of luxury, the brothers' lives were far from perfect. The Menendez household was marked by high expectations and relentless pressure. Jose was a strict, demanding father, pushing his sons to achieve excellence at any cost. They attended prestigious schools, competed in tennis at an elite level, and were groomed to follow in their father's footsteps. But beneath this polished exterior, there were signs of strain. As they grew up, the burden of their father's expectations and alleged abuse began to take its toll. Lyle, the elder brother, was seen as the golden child, while Eric struggled to meet the family's high standards. Their relationship with their parents became increasingly strained, setting the stage for a tragic confrontation on a summer night in 1989 when the illusion of a perfect family shattered. The brutal murder of Jose and Kitty Menendez in their own home sent shockwaves through the community. At first, Lyle and Eric appeared to be grieving sons, but soon they became the prime suspects in a case that captivated the nation. The investigation uncovered a disturbing side to the Menendez fortune. In the months following their parents' deaths, Lyle and Eric went on a lavish spending spree, purchasing luxury cars, expensive watches, and taking extravagant trips. This conspicuous consumption, combined with a tip from a therapist's girlfriend, led to their arrest. The trial of Lyle and Eric Menendez turned into a national spectacle, a story of privilege twisted into parricide. As they stood before the court, the defense revealed a grim account of their lives, alleging years of severe abuse hidden behind the gates of their mansion. They claimed that the brothers had suffered physical, emotional, and sexual abuse at the hands of their parents, which had driven them to a state of psychological despair and fear for their lives. Lyle and Eric, then 21 and 18 years old, respectively, took the stand and recounted their harrowing experiences, describing a childhood marked by constant fear and manipulation. Eric's testimony echoed these claims, stating that the abuse persisted into his teenage years. The defense sought to portray the brothers' actions as a desperate act of self-preservation in response to an imminent threat. However, the prosecution presented a contrasting narrative, arguing that greed, not fear, motivated the brothers. They pointed to the brothers' extravagant spending after the murders and the premeditated nature of the crime, noting that they had purchased shotguns just days before the killings. The prosecution dismissed the abuse allegations as a convenient excuse designed to evoke sympathy and deflect responsibility for their actions. Were the Menendez brothers victims of a dark family secret, or were they cold-blooded killers driven by the prospect of inheriting their parents' wealth? After a lengthy and highly publicized trial, the jury found the brothers guilty of first-degree murder, sentencing them to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Ethan Couch. Ethan Couch's story is one of a troubled teenager born into wealth in Tarrant County, Texas. His life was anything but typical. His father, Fred, founded Cleburne Metalworks, a thriving sheet metal company, while his mother, Tonia, worked as a nurse until her license was revoked in 1986. By 2012, the family's affluence was evident, but so was the turmoil within their household. Ethan's adolescence was marked by a sense of entitlement and lack of discipline. At the age of 13, he drove himself to school, and when questioned, his father threatened to buy the school. By 15, Ethan had already encountered the law, facing charges for underage consumption and possession of alcohol after being found in a parked pickup truck with an unconscious 14-year-old girl. The Couch family's legal troubles did not begin with Ethan. His parents, who would later divorce in 2017, had their own share of issues. Fred faced charges ranging from assault to impersonating a police officer, while Tanya was fined for reckless driving. The events leading up to the tragic crash revealed a pattern of recklessness. On June 15, 2013, Ethan, under the influence of alcohol and drugs, stole 2 cases of beer from a Walmart and took off with 7 passengers in his father's red Ford F-350. Just an hour later, driving at 70 miles per hour in a 40 miles per hour zone on Burleson Road, disaster struck. Ethan's truck veered off the road and hit motorist Brianna Mitchell, whose SUV had broken down. Holly Boyles and her daughter Shelby, who lived nearby, had come out to help Mitchell, as had passing youth minister Brian Jennings. Couch's truck then crashed into Jennings' parked car, which subsequently hit an oncoming Volkswagen Beetle. The tragic accident left 4 people dead and several others injured. Their lives changed forever. Ethan's blood alcohol content was 0.24%, 3 times the legal limit for an adult in Texas. The crash not only devastated families, but also set the stage for a legal battle that called into question the fairness of the justice system. Ethan Couch's trial garnered national attention, not just because of the horrific nature of the crime, but due to the unprecedented defense strategy employed. Charged with 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter, Ethan faced a possible sentence of up to 20 years in prison. It was then that the term affluenza entered the spotlight, a combination of affluence and influenza used by the defense to describe Ethan's inability to grasp the consequences of his actions due to his privileged upbringing. Psychologist Dick Miller testified that Ethan was a product of wealth that had shielded him from the realities of responsibility. The defense portrayed him as a teenager who had been given everything but boundaries. Conrad Hilton's descent into darkness began despite being born into a life of luxury. As the great-grandson of hotel magnate Conrad Hilton Sr., Conrad was expected to carry on the family legacy with grace and dignity. Raised amid opulence that few could imagine, Conrad grew up under the weight of these expectations. But as he entered his teenage years, the lure of a high society lifestyle became too tempting to resist. Parties, red carpets, and the relentless attention of paparazzi became routine for the young Hilton heir. Yet, behind this glamorous facade, trouble was brewing. Conrad's early run-ins with the law hinted at deeper issues. Minor offenses and tabloid headlines revealed a young man struggling to navigate a world where every action was scrutinized. It wasn't long before these small indiscretions escalated, sending Conrad on a downward spiral. At just 18, his life of partying took a darker turn. His experimentation with drugs quickly evolved into a severe addiction, derailing his promising future. Once celebrated as a potential heir to the Hilton empire, he soon became infamous for scandals, not success. As his behavior grew more erratic, Conrad's family intervened, enrolling him in a prestigious rehab facility. This was intended to be a turning point in his recovery. However, Conrad was not ready to face his demons. After just 2 months, he made the ill-fated decision to leave treatment, setting himself on a path of further self-destruction. The privileged life Conrad Hilton had known took a dramatic turn as his actions caught up with him. What had once been a lifestyle of luxury now unraveled in a series of publicized incidents more suited to a Hollywood saga than the life of a hotel heir. One night in Los Angeles, things came to a head. Responding to a disturbance, police arrived to find Conrad at the center of chaos. His outburst was not just a typical tantrum, but a tirade laced with homophobic slurs and racist remarks, a shocking display from a member of the Hilton family. His mugshot soon replaced the party photos that once dominated social media feeds. The charges were serious, and the court offered him a choice: continue down his destructive path or agree to treatment as a condition of his bail. He chose the latter, entering a world starkly different from the opulence he was used to. Court-ordered treatment programs and community service became his new reality, a far cry from the luxurious life he once led. Despite the looming threat of legal consequences, Conrad's struggles with substance abuse persisted, leading to repeated stints in rehab. His actions not only impacted him, but also cast a shadow over the Hilton family, known for their business acumen and philanthropy, as they dealt with the public relations fallout from Conrad's behavior. Lapo Elkann. Meanwhile, Leo Elkan, born into the illustrious Agnelli dynasty, had his own troubled journey. Born in New York City as part of Italy's Fiat automotive empire, Elkann's life was marked by wealth and influence. Despite struggling with dyslexia and attention deficit disorders, he persevered, attending prestigious schools in Paris and London, and even serving in the military, a testament to his resilience and determination. By 2003, Lapo had climbed to the position of Fiat's director of marketing, where he demonstrated a keen sense of innovation, notably spearheading the global relaunch of the Fiat 500. Yet, as he rose professionally, the pressure of his family's legacy began to take its toll. His personal life soon took a dark turn. Despite his career successes, he became entangled in a web of controversies that overshadowed his achievements. His battle with drug addiction reached a crisis point in 2005 when he narrowly survived an overdose, a terrifying experience that forced him to confront his inner demons. This struggle remained a private matter until the scandal of a fake kidnapping thrust his personal issues into the public eye. In late November 2016, New York City police charged Elkann with staging his own abduction after a drug-fueled weekend with an escort. He falsely claimed to be held hostage, demanding a $10,000 ransom from his own family. The deception unraveled quickly when he and the escort were found outside her apartment, far from the peril he had described. This act of deceit was a sharp departure from his image as a successful entrepreneur and raised questions about the pressures of living up to the Agnelli legacy. Although the charges against the escort were dropped, Lapo's legal troubles became a major media focus. The incident marked a dramatic fall from grace, but also a turning point in his life. Leo Elkan's journey to recovery began with a renewed commitment to sobriety and an honest acknowledgement of his past mistakes. The latest chapter in his story unfolded on March 8, 2024, when ANSA reported that he and his sister, Ginevra, were implicated in an inheritance probe. The allegations are severe, with potential charges of fraud against the state looming over them. This investigation threatens to cast a long shadow over the Elkann legacy as it delves into the complexities of their financial dealings and inheritance matters. If you enjoyed from this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for future interesting videos. Thanks for watching.